Hey folks, how you guys doing today? Jimmy Roberts here, your local real estate professional, and today you caught me out on an inspection. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk through this property. Smells like it's been painted, but generally speaking, everything else is older in nature. As we go through the property, I'll walk through and I'll point out some interesting highlights. Alrighty, so here we go. Okay, so it's always nice to start in the entrance, right? The living room. Now, as you can see, pretty standard living room. Now, what's really interesting, I'm in an older house, about 1950, and of course, all of these walls are plaster. This is all plaster. And the cool thing about plaster that you don't really see in some newer homes is the fact that the original artisans, and they were that, you look at the edges here, those are rounded corners. You have this type of crown molding, right? Or this type of molding strip right there. That is really cool, and it's really unique to plaster construction. You don't see that in drywall construction so much nowadays because, quite frankly, I don't believe a lot of the installers know how to do it. So here we go. Let's start sliding through here, through the hallway. And now we get to the bathroom. Now, let's call this what it is. So yes, the homeowners have made some updates, but this is not what I would call a freshly renovated bathroom. That vanity was probably replaced about 5 years or so ago, probably about the same time the toilet was replaced. But everything, the floor and the tub, however, are original, right? They probably also changed this. Matter of fact, they did. And the good thing is they used a ceramic tiling. Sometimes you see a lot of people using vinyl on the walls nowadays, but that's cool that they use ceramic. Again, it's probably more of a symbol or an indicator that this renovation was done a few years back as opposed to within the last year or so. Let me bring your attention here to this too. This is a bathroom window. Now, why am I bringing attention to the bathroom window? Because we don't have a fan anywhere in here. So the only way we can get ventilation in this hot, humid environment is through this window. Now, the cool thing about this, and this is a good thing about this type of construction again, is the homeowners, or whoever, it looks like probably the people who constructed this property back in 1950, they knew that if they're gonna put a window here, that putting just wood here would be a problem. Why? Because water's gonna sit here, it's gonna rot, then you're gonna have all types of other problems. So what they did is here, they put a nice slab of granite. They sealed it up pretty well. This caulk is cracking and it's gonna need to be changed pretty soon. But generally speaking, this is a good idea. If you are gonna have a window in here, you gotta make sure you don't have exposed wood around the frame. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring that up because oftentimes I see wood a lot. And the reason people do that is because it's cheaper. It is. That said, the cost to install a non-wood seal like that is not really that much.
I promise, don't worry.
I mean, you're talking about an extra couple of $100. And the reality is, if you're doing this type of renovation anyway, or adding that type of window, a couple of $100 ain't gonna make that big a difference. Might as well not do the renovation if that's the case. So now we're gonna slide into a bedroom, standard bedroom here, nothing major. Original flooring that has just been recently refinished. Every bedroom has a smoke detector, which is a requirement. And of course, there's one in the hallway. No need to go through these other bedrooms here. So let's take a look in the kitchen. Interesting thing about the kitchen is it's pretty basic. I mean pretty basic, right?
A basic thing.
Based on modern day standards, you have your very small countertop area right there. There is no dishwasher. I'm assuming you probably put your refrigerator right there, stove right there, and there you have it. The only thing that's new in here is the flooring, which is luxury vinyl plank. And this countertop and bottom cabinets are newer. The uppers are existing. They didn't change those out, but they did put newer low cabinets. Matter of fact, you can even see this is probably where, right there is probably where the dishwasher probably should have been. And here's the other thing they did. This is if this was an update or renovation, it was very low end. Here's another way you can find this out. There's no garbage disposal. Look at that, no garbage disposal. Just a one base sink. Let's see. Well, they might have used a thicker grade steel, a thicker gauge steel, which is pretty okay. So here we go. Now, this is a typical basement. Now again, remember I told you the home was constructed in the 1950s. Typical basement, this area would become considered finished because you have a finished flooring here. You don't have the concrete, you have the asbestos tile. As long as it's in good shape, it's fine. You have the pine along the walls, and you have the acoustic ceiling tiles. Now, that said, the problem is this. I'm trying to focus here on those streaks of water. I don't know what those are, and I don't know where they're coming from. See, that's not really a good thing. What that suggests, though, is it suggests that there is some type of water problem down here, because where you can see the water stains from this way, they're there and they're over here. Now, this tells me that there is, since I don't see any stains in the tiles, that means the water is probably coming somewhere along this edge, somewhere along the edge of the property, which means that there's probably foundation issues. Now, again, this home was constructed back in the 50s. So it's now early 2020s. So you're probably looking at a home that is at least 70 years old. 70 years old homes, originally when they were constructed, they had these things called clay drain tiles that they put around the surface, around the outside of the home. Their whole job was to move water from away from the house into the sewer drains. Well, like I said, it's been 7 years and these clay tiles have been sitting in the ground and have likely disintegrated. So it would make sense, or it's reasonable to believe that if there is a foundation water issue, that is probably the cause. And it looks like it's coming from somewhere along this wall. I don't know where exactly. That would require the removal of this stuff, and I'm not going to do that. But I will note it in my report.